I'm Lori Shaw with Renaissance Periodization, and today we're going to do a coconut not rice pudding. This is a brand new recipe. It's not in any of my cookbooks. And I'm doing this because I made this meal for myself. I've been cutting for a while. I don't get a whole lot of fat. So I started playing around with these miracle noodles, miracle rice, the 0-calorie stuff. And I made this not rice pudding one day for my meal one on my templates, and I posted the picture, and surprisingly, a lot of you guys are rice pudding fans, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, what is that? So let's talk about these this miracle rice. So it's kind of like a grain sized, and these are like kind of tricky to work with. So I had a lot of you, when I started using the, they're also called shirataki noodles. So when I started using the shirataki noodles, the shirataki fettuccine, and posting pictures, people were like, oh, you guys were like, I tried that before, that stuff is disgusting. Again, it is all in the prep process. Not gonna lie, when you cut into this bag, it smells god awful. It smells like fish, I don't know why. It's horrible, but you have to prep it correctly. And actually the instructions are right there on the bag. If you just follow that, you need to rinse these. I mean, I think the bag says to rinse it for like 10 or 15 seconds. Overachieve on that. I'll go ahead and rinse it for like a minute. Just like that'll wash off a lot of that weird smell that's on it. Then you need to boil these just for 2 minutes. That also kills that smell that's in it. And then drain it after the 2 minutes. And then step 3, so yes, there's a little prep involved, is to dry them out in a dry saute pan. So I have drained them out of the bag, gotten rid of the liquid. They're in a liquid. So when you buy this, it's in a pack and it's packed in liquid. I've seen them in the refrigerator section with the tofu. These I got online, so they are a room temperature, shelf stable product. They're still packed in a water, but I got them from like Thrive Market, and they just sent them in a box, and I've just had them in my pantry, so they don't need to be refrigerated. So I've seen both kinds. So right now, if you can see it, it's kind of shiny. It has a little bit of a shine to it, and that's the moisture. That's the water that's still on it. So you want to leave it in here. It might even brown a little bit. It might even like, you know, turn a little bit of color. That's okay too. The whole point is to dry it out. If you don't, the texture is different. You might even still have a little of the weird taste. But if you prep it correctly, it doesn't have any weird taste at all. All right, so this is looking good. Most of the shine is gone, so this is ready to use. So I will switch this into here, transfer it, so we're ready to make our pudding now. Star of the show. And then what we're gonna add is vanilla, it's unsweetened vanilla cashew milk. You could use rice milk, you can use regular milk. I can't have dairy, so I don't use regular milk, so you can use almond milk, rice milk, whatever milk you want. And then I'm going to add the rest of that milk. Some sugar-free coconut Torani, some vanilla, and cinnamon. And I've got some extra of the cashew milk in case we need it. Like as this starts to cook and the water or some of the milk starts to evaporate, if it starts to stick or get too thick, I've got this on hand. But you could use water. You know, obviously if you're counting your macros, you can't just add in a splash here and a splash there, because if you want to count it, just use water at this point. Once you've used the measured amount of your coconut milk or whatever milk you're using, just use water after that if you need it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and stir in my protein powder. You guys have heard me say before, I don't like baking with protein powder all that much. I mean, I will, but it does leave a weird aftertaste that's kind of hard to mask. You have to get pretty scientist-y, I think, mixing and stuff and masking and all of that to make it work. So I don't like baking with it, but stirring it into something like this where you kind of cook off a little bit of the weird aftertaste totally worked fine for me. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off the heat and just let it set, and it'll continue to thicken a little bit. Stir in a little salt. I'm gonna go ahead and stir in my coconut flakes now. And I've got some fresh mint. I'm gonna tear it instead of chopping it. Chopping bruises the leaves, and tearing just kind of releases all that good flavor. There we go. Ready to enjoy.